Do you collect sewing books? Do you collect vintage sewing books? I know I do. I have a bookshelf full of them. Here's a few of them. Stay tuned if you want to see what's inside and hear me talk about them. Hello all, and welcome to Killer Kitsch Lizzie, my weird little place where I like to sew and knit and do other crafty things. Well, as you would have heard in the intro, this video is going to be about, well, in this case, sewing magazines. Well, although on them they do say sewing book, but it's in the format of magazines. I collect knitting magazines and sewing books and magazines. Every time I go to a thrift shop or a rummage sale or a yard sale or anywhere where people might be getting rid of patterns and books and notions and stuff, I will scour through everything to find sewing books. Pre-COVID, churches around this time of year and again in spring will have like rummage sales to raise money for the church. And I got to tell you, I have found so many books and magazines at those. I've lost track of how many. So if you have those things happening in your area and you do collect, go to them. Trust me. Not just that, you find so many fun trinkets and stuff there too. What I'm going to talk about today are the simplicity ones that I have, and then I got a couple of other ones that I'm going to talk about. I have other books as well. I also have a lot of knitting magazines, like vintage, and I'm probably going to do a video about some of those too. It won't be all of them. Sorry, something is about to fall over here, so just pushing it back. What I'll do is I'll probably pick like a company that I have a lot of, as I'm doing right now. So yeah, stay tuned for those too. So the reason I collect the books, or magazines in this case, magazine books, is because I find that each year they will repeat a bunch of basic stuff, but they will add in new techniques that have come up. So I have books from like the 40s. Actually, I don't know if these are from the 40s. No. So in my case, I have the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s. Yeah. Yes. So I have noticed that, as each decade goes by, techniques disappear and new ones show up. I'm still trying to find more. I don't know how many are out there, but I am trying to find knitting magazines and sewing magazines and books from the 30s and 40s. I don't know if the reason there's less of them is because the condition of them. Maybe they didn't print them as often. Possibly they were in like bound book form as opposed to magazines. I know knitting magazines, there's like tons of them. I have a bookshelf with a bunch of them on it, so I have proof of that. And when I'm talking about the years, I'm talking about simplicity. I do have one book I'm going to show you here from the 40s, and then nope, they're both from the 40s, I think. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to briefly show you the books, and then I'm going to do a video just quickly doing a flip through. I'm not going to be very thorough, like I'm not going to go through every single page. And the reason I'm not going to do that is because I don't want this video to be an hour long. I'm trying to make my videos a bit shorter. I'm not succeeding, but I'm trying. Yeah, and if you see a specific one of the books I'm going to show you in the flip through that you want to see more of, let me know, and I could do another video in the future of just that book. So I thought I had these in order, and I do not. Let me just put them in order quickly. There we go. So the first Simplicity one that I have is from the 1950s. I don't know that it has a 1953. So this one's from 1953, and it was 35 cents when it came out. And one of the themes that you're going to see in earlier sewing books is mother and daughter working together, which is really cool. I wish that we still had things that were more themed like that. I also wish that we still had home ec. My home ec teacher was absolutely amazing. If you showed interest in like doing other things outside of basic sewing, she was more than happy to show you. Like, she taught us how to do, though it was a small group of us, but like things like drafting your own pattern, grading patterns, like French seams, things like that, things that were not part of the course. Like the sewing course was basic, meaning that you learned, you know, how to sew on a button, how to like fix a garment that's got a rip in it. And then and I think she went above and beyond for everybody with this, but sewing an actual garment, and a simple garment for most of people, some of us that were a little bit, you know, a little more eager, like I did a strapless dress in my last year of home ec. You know, pants, things like that. Like, if you showed initiative, she was happy to help you. And because of her and my mother, I learned how to sew well and very quickly. So anyway, enough of that. On to the books. So yeah, so the first one here is from 1953. Again, I'll do flip through. The next one I'm going to do a quick flip through is from 1962. And I love the dress on the front. It's so cute. I know I have a ton of patterns that I could replicate this dress easily with. So this next one is from the early mid-70s. Yeah, I should have put sticky notes on here with the years, and I did not. 1975. This one's a lot thicker, a lot more content in it. And then the final one is from 1972. And they started to get more fun with their covers the further along they got. So there are these. I'll do a quick flip through for these, as well as this is Shortcuts to Sewing Success, Fully Illustrated. This is from the 1940s. And I don't know if there's a copyright on here. I'm not seeing one right now. When I go to do the flip through, I'll confirm what it is, but it's definitely the 40s. You can tell from her hair and what she's wearing. And then this one is from the 50s. Again, you know what? I'm not gonna... 1955. And this is Singer Sewing Skills Reference Book. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think I saw another video with somebody who had a similar book, and it may have come with their sewing machine back then, along with the manual. It might have been as an extra, but it definitely talks about sewing parts in here at the beginning. So I'll do a very quick flip through of this one as well. This one I'm not going to do a flip through. It's called Fabulous Fit. I believe it's from the 80s. Late 70s, early 80s. Lisa Aboba Bun on her YouTube channel actually does a flip through of her copy of this, and she is the reason I bought this. Because I also am looking to, I'm trying to collect tailoring books as well. When we were cleaning out my in-laws' house, my mother-in-law had a lot of books, mostly cookbooks. Like, she loved cooking, and she had shelves and shelves of cookbooks, but she did have a huge shelf of tailoring books, sewing books. And my friend Yvonne, who was one of the people that was helping me do the clean out of the house, her and I went through and like split up the books that were there. I didn't take all of them. Actually, she didn't either. We did donate some of them. But I got some amazing tailoring books from her, from my mother-in-law, that were my mother-in-law's. If you like, let me know below, and I can actually show you those books. One of them is actually a beautiful vintage Japanese tailoring book. My mother-in-law was Japanese. And yeah, if you're interested in those, I can definitely do another video with a flip through of those books. So let me know below. Because again, I have a lot of books. So yeah, so next I'm gonna do the flip through with you. I'm gonna try to keep it short. But again, as I mentioned, if you see one of these magazines that you want to see in more detail, let me know. I am more than happy to do another video. Or, if there's a couple here. I just don't want to do all the pages because, again, this video is going to be too long. All right, so on to the flip through video. Okay, as promised, here is a quick flip through of these books. The first one here is, and I apologize for the weird angle, it's the only way I can do it, so I can actually show you. Yeah, this is a Singer sewing reference book. As I had said a few moments ago, I believe these came with the actual sewing machine as a way to, I don't know, like show you other things that you could buy, sort of how to use your machine. It talks about, needles here, how to thread the machine. It's a manual as well as giving you tips on how to use the book. Or sorry, how to sew on the machine, not how to use the book. The lighting is a little weird there. Let me just adjust the lighting a bit. Hopefully that's a bit better. Yeah, that should be a bit better. You can see my light stand here in the in frame. I apologize. Yeah, but it also talks about, how to do slip basting for plaids and prints, which I am going to use this technique in the future. About trimming your seams, how to do a dart, a lot of basic stuff. Shearing with the machine, waffle shearing, all kinds of fun things like that. So this is what this book is about. It also gets into, if your machine, comes with the embroidery attachment, it gets into fancy things like how to embroider on your machine. A whole bunch of things. So this was part manual and part, how to do things on your machine. Putting in zippers. Oh, actually that's really good, that's a really good step-by-step tutorial. Also the illustrations in this book in particular are pretty amazing. And I have looked at the instructions before. Very, very easy to follow. Yeah, so that's that book. If you want to see more of this book, again, I can do another video. Also, we have a Value Village here in Canada, and I believe I found this though at, up north near my parents' house, or where they live. It was $1.99. Originally this was 95 cents. So there's that one. And yeah, this is going to be a quick flip through because I know I've said this a bunch of times already, but I don't want it to be too long. And if you see one that you really like, I'll do a longer video. So this one is the Shortcuts to Sewing. This is from the 40s. 1940. There, I found it. I found the copyright. Okay. And this goes through tips for beginners, knowing your figure, knowing your fabric, sewing equipment, you know, how to do ruffles, facings, corners, tucks, belts, buttonholes, you know, sleeves, neck finishes, covers, making a coat, and working with fur, things like that. I mean, I won't personally be working with fur, but edgings, which I want to do more of in my sewing. Yeah, this is really handy. Again, the illustrations in here are really well done. How to do a welt pocket, a flap pocket with a welt. How to do slide fasteners, fabric fastening, darts. Oh, tucks and darts. I actually like necklines that have the tucks. I don't know, I think they're very flattering, also very 40s. Hopefully you're seeing this okay with the light. It goes through a lot of hems in this book. There's a few pages of hems, ruffles and flounces, different kinds of seams, and how to do your seams, you know, gathering at seam line, spacing gathers. Very important, because I gotta tell you, when I'm sewing a dress, if it's a gathered skirt, probably the longest part of me putting it together is evening out the gathers, and I still never get them completely even. Yeah, a bunch of things in here on seams, things to know about your machine, and I'm assuming it's going to be a very general information about the machine. Hand sewing, which I am doing more of these days. Fitting yourself, you know. Actually, I need one of these gadgets for hemming. I know that my tailor form has a little attachment that you can move up and down for hemming, but I don't always find it very useful. I find it's very it's not very stable. Not very stable or secure. Oh, padding your form. Because, you know, dress forms are not all made you know, specific to your body unless you order one. And they're very, very expensive. So if you have a tailor form and you need to fill at the bust or the hips or whatever, some really good tips here. Alterations. There's a bunch of pages in here on alterations. Also, I just noticed this before. I don't know why I didn't notice this before. Dewberry Patterns of Economy. Yeah, I didn't even notice this before when I bought this. So that's interesting. Okay. How to take your measurements, which from doing Haslam and looking at this, yeah, they're pretty much the same measurements you would take when you're doing your drafted home Haslam. Needle and thread guide, which honestly not everyone pays attention to, especially on your sewing machine. And this one's a very good one here. It is for cottons. This one's for silk, rayons, and woolens, but it tells you what the best needle is depending on the fabric you're using on your machine, also for hand knitting. You know, machine stitches per inch. And I think what happens is we don't change our needles for the fabric we're working with, and that's a huge mistake, because if you're knitting with jersey, you need to use a jersey needle. If you're doing a very delicate fabric, you need a different sewing needle, either hand needle or machine needle for those delicate fabrics, because if you're using the wrong needle, you're gonna get catches in your fabric, or the thread's gonna bunch underneath. Like, these are things like this are really important. I don't know if all sewing books have them. They should. Yeah, and then this is like sewing equipment, knowing your fabric, knowing your own figure, and the best lines for it. So there's this book. Again, I can go into more detail with this one. So this is the Simplicity 1953. Cute mom and daughter on the cover. Again, there's some very similar things at the beginning. You know, flattering your figure, sewing tools. Oh, I love, this is what honestly, I know some people are like, oh, that's so old-fashioned. It's not. I gotta tell you, I did graphic design for advertising in college, and we did a lot of color theory. And after doing all that color theory, this actually makes sense. You know, I am my hair is naturally it's not really auburn. It is a dark reddish brown, and I have hazel eyes. Though I'm not seeing hazel eyes here as an option, but in my case I would, you know, go with brown eyes. But again, my hair is not auburn, it is, you know, reddish brown. However, this works for me. And it is similar to the brown hair in some cases, but these are actually, and I have fair skin, freckles, fair skin, and I have for years like not tried to go with what my color palette should be. I have done a lot of like, although I think I look good in red, it is saying red is not on here, but over the years I have actually started to migrate towards a lot of blue, and this turquoise and this green in particular looks really good on my skin. And then over here is just darker versions of this, and the more I'm actually paying attention to these, I gotta tell you, the more it's working. So there's that. I thought that was very interesting. But there's a lot of similarities in most magazines, like, you know, pressing, cutting and marking is a very good one to always have in a book. Facts about fabrics. This is a really helpful chart. I've used it a few times now. You know, how to do all kinds of different buttonholes, including bound buttonholes. Again, really helpful instructions. How to work with lace, embroidery. Again, a huge section about hemming, ruffles, darts, seams and seam finishes. So a lot of these books will have a bunch of similar things. But when you get to the tailoring section, sometimes this is where things will be like new techniques that might not have been in the previous year's book, as an example. And then we jump from 1953 to 1962, and you know, we're gonna find a bunch of similar things in here again. Hopefully you can see okay, there's not too much glare. Let's go back to the beginning here. I think this one for me was a little bit more in depth than the one from the 50s. Now again, a lot of this, as you're going to see here, is like for, you know, simplicity patterns. They do tend to have things like this. Also, we don't see this anymore. We're, you know, chubbies. You know, I mean, yeah. Anyway, yeah, knowing your figure, what, you know, fabrics are flattering to you. You know, you do see that over and over again. That theme. You know, basic stitches again. You know, this is a good one, like how to turn a faced corner, you know, finishing hems. Again, you're going to see a lot of this, like repeating over and over again. Underlining, you know, making a man's sports shirts. So yeah, you'll find once in a while, you'll find that they'll put in like a how to make this garment in some of their books, but not all the books. Pockets. When you make a coat, do it the easy way. Actually, I'm going to be making in the new year, I have things that I have not made. I keep saying I'm going to make them. I haven't made them because they kind of scare me a little bit. Not because the making of it scares me. I've been sewing for so long that that's not the fear. For me, it's the... Oops, sorry, I just hit the mic. For me, it's the way it's going to look on me. Trousers is a big one. I've been avoiding making them. I did a toile a couple years ago and then didn't get any further. I need to get over it. I am a curvy lady. I have seen other curvy ladies who shows, YouTube shows channels that I follow, their Instagram accounts, and they look gorgeous in trousers. And we have similar figures, so I don't know, I gotta get over it. Anyways, a coat is not a thing that scares me. It's just, I haven't made one yet, so I would like to do that. Yeah, you know, standard things like joining a skirt to a bodice, joining a sleeve unit to a bodice. You know, making a blouse. I just find this stuff is helpful for me. Oh, and kind of the gem of finding books like this is sometimes there are other things inserted that are not actually part of the book. And this is from, I just saw it, Family Circle, in-book pattern. Kind of wish I had this pattern, or the book, sorry, to go with this pattern, because probably the instructions are in the, oh no, there's instructions here. Anyway, this is, this pattern is for making pants. It's from a 1971 Family Circle magazine. Is Family Circle still around? I'm not even sure. Yeah, you can do shorts, gachos, which a word we don't use anymore. We call them culottes now. I don't know what size this is for though. I don't see any actual, again, the magazine. I mean, there are some instructions here. I don't know if, just looking through this here. No, I don't actually see an actual size for these anywhere, but I mean, I think it's easy enough to figure out by just measuring it. But yeah, you find little extras like this sometimes. And then this is for a very simple dress. It's actually really cute. The pattern pieces have been cut. This is standard body measurements. I'm not going to pull this out right now. Oh, hold on. Size is 12 to 18, so it goes from bust 32 to 38. Anyways, thought that was really cute. This was in, I don't know what it was. Probably, again, it was probably in a magazine or something. I like that. I like you find these cute little things. The buttonhole section of this book has been very helpful. Yep, there's a bunch of like setting in sleeves, how to make a kick pleat. Again, more of the man's shirt. This book I know I have used a few times already. I have found it very helpful, and it's the Simplicity sewing book from 1962. Also, this dress is so cute. I would love to make this dress. Who knows, maybe in the future I will. But yeah, I have a bunch of patterns that minimally already have that bodice. Actually, I think there's a Haslam pattern that has a similar bodice, so future project maybe? Again, the ring light is putting some glare. So this is another Simplicity sewing book, updated. What did I say this one was? This, I guess this is from the 70s. 75. Actually, let's do the 72 one first, because let's do an order of years. So this is 72. There you go. I found this at a antique market a while ago. Look, $1. Again, it says revise plus tailoring, crochet, embroidery, and more. So as we move on into the future, you start seeing more of that in addition to the tailoring stuff. Again, pants, right? This is like, I'm being told, do pants. But yeah, there's how to do a jacket, how to line a dress. Whoops. To line or underline. That's very similar to that pattern that was in that other magazine. Skirt unit. Shirt dress pieces, like how to do a skirt or a dress zipper, you know, dart, stay stitching. Learn how to crochet in chapter 17. I kind of wish I could crochet, but it gives me grief. That is super cute, would be very fast to make. Look at that skirt. How cute is that skirt? And for me, I would do it slightly longer, just below my knees, but in a nice flannel, or some would do wool. I'm allergic to wool. It gives me a really bad rash, so no wool for me. Cute. Look at the pants. These are so groovy with the pockets. It says make a quick and simple knit t-shirt. So now they're moving into, you know, instructions for knit or jersey. Yeah, how you can do pants. Those are very cute. Very cute. Jacket. Shirt. I love this collar. Another really cute skirt that I would, again, make longer because mini skirts do not suit me. Can you tell it's the 70s? Oh, look at that neckline. That's really nice. Oh, the dolman sleeves. I love dolman sleeves. How to work with bias cuts. Oh, yeah, very Vampire's Wife. Vest. Cute. I think this is some visible mending, or is this embroidery? No, this is embroidery. Funny enough, my friend Ermina and I just took an embroidery class, and we did most of these stitches, not all of them, but we did a lot of these stitches. I found it very, very helpful. Here's some crafty things. You know, how to press, how to adjust your pattern pieces, how to fix issues with like your crotch, things like that. Like, these are very super helpful. So if you ever see these, honestly, just grab them. You know, even if you're like, oh, not another Simplicity one, every single year they add things to it, or they change up a certain technique in one thing, right? Or two things or three things. So this is the last one. This is another Simplicity. Again, I'm sorry, but the ring light, it's making it easier for me to show you, because our place is very dark. And we have dark walls and stuff, so it's actually, that's making it even darker. Also, again, because we're in an apartment, the windows are mostly on the front and the back and on one side, and it's not the side I'm on right now that have the windows. So yeah, this one is from 75, I think is what he just said. 70... Where are you? Yes, 75. So this is from 75. I gotta be honest, I want to get my... Sorry, we have this one here. I would love to get my hands on, like, the needlework one, Simply Tailoring, Sewing for Men. Like, I would like to find these books. They're only $1.25 though if you order them back in 1975. Yeah, so this book again has like beginner projects. The special skills, you know, it's possible that there is some new things in there. Decorative extras, which is always fun. But yeah, they cover, you know, pants, jacket lining, pressing, special fabrics, sewing shortcuts, which I haven't seen in the other ones. Like, yeah, they do cover a lot of garments. But again, as we go along, if you are sewing a particular era, so if you are doing patterns from the 70s, this will be helpful for you because over time, women's clothes continually change the shape. Men's less so. So, you know, in the 70s, the style of a pair of pants may differ from ones from the 1940s. You know, the 40s was more about high waist, pleats, looser. The 70s, you start getting into, like, no pleats, flat front, high waist to a certain degree, but as you get later into the 70s, the waist starts going down, things like that, right? So, what is, I just wanted to go to, where were you? Section 18, so what page is that on? That is 197. Again, I love the illustrations, they're so good. You know, fitting standards would slightly change maybe because garment shapes have changed. But, you know, the information is still important, whatever era you're in. So like 192 or something like that. 91. Nope, it's really long. Oh, here we are. So special fabrics. So it's gonna tell you how to deal with, like, yeah, see this? We just saw this. The pressing. This was in the last one. The exact same photo too. Yeah, so this one's like talking about stretch. You know, how to deal with limited stretch, moderate, very stretchy. Using a pick to knit rule. On the crosswise grain course of a fabric, away from the cut edge, mark off 4 inches section with pins or tailoring chalk. Okay, that's a long piece, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but... You know, again, as you know, knit was being used a lot more now at this point. Lingerie fabrics, sewing on a bias. Plaids and stripes. Yeah, this is, again, this is a very handy section because lace, you know, how to lay your pattern pieces to match, right? And this is sewing shortcuts. Oh, I wonder when Jiffy, so they're the Jiffy patterns is being mentioned here. I'm gonna look to see when Jiffy started being a thing. Yeah, I don't see a year here, so I'm gonna move on. Yeah, so it's giving you tips like on marking, cutting, stitching, top stitching, tacking. Very cool. And then I guess this must be for embroidery because everything, oops, lots of embroidery here. Yeah, taking that course was really, really good. It was very helpful. Cute. This is like the crafty section. I have so many scraps of fabric. Not, well, I guess enough, but, well, not really. Enough to do, you know, if I mix fabrics, I could do like some crazy aprons. Cute. Partying at home. I like this neckline though. It's very cute. Look at that collar. That collar is amazing. Oh, and here is how to draw out your design. Oh yeah, here's the embroidery stitches again. How to do smocking, which is a thing I want to attempt to do at some point on a dress or a top. Cross stitching, again, took a course for that. I mean, I've been cross stitching for a while, but I took a course to try to get better. Top stitching. Oh, look at that cuff. Padded top stitching. No, the pages do not want to turn suddenly or come apart. What is hidden in here? Oh, binding. Yeah, so again, a whole bunch of really good information in here. The ad. How groovy is this ad? So yeah, that was like a look from books from 1953 up to 1975. I hope you found that interesting. Again, I am more than happy to, if there's any one of these books that you want a really thorough flip through, let me know. More than happy to do it. Again, just for time, I didn't want this to be a super long video, though I'm sure it's going to be anyway. I didn't want to do thorough flip throughs of all these books. Yeah, so just let me know in the comments below. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed seeing the contents of these magazines, or books, whatever you want to call them. I had a lot of fun showing it to you. If this is something that you want to see more of in the future, please let me know. I would love it if you would subscribe. I would love it if you liked this video, if you shared this video, and any of my other content that you like. It all helps me out. I also have a Ko-fi account. If you want to throw a little donation in there, that would be very helpful. I am adding content there as well, like free knitting patterns and things like that over time. You'll see more and more of that. Every little bit helps me out because I am trying to buy better equipment and things like books so I can show you, you know, things that you might be interested in, buying materials and whatnot. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay kitschy and have an amazing rest of your week, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye!